Previously, on Rise of the Runelords. After finally deheading their foe, Taunton took a moment to ponder what was left for him now that his personal quest for vengeance had been fulfilled. Perhaps ever-present and ever-deepening existential dread if this whole band of adventurers thing doesn't pan out. With the silver scales that had been the Ascended's target, and the Ascended's gold rod that he had been taunting Icky with secured, the group was anxious to check on Icky's village to verify their safety. However, not before giving in to every adventurer's greatest weakness: investigating behind conspicuous closed doors. Upon opening the doors, the party was greeted with a sight they did not expect. A vast, ancient library that had not been disturbed in more than 10,000 years, as well as a still-functioning automaton librarian that was more than eager to assist our scholastically inclined and inquisitive bibliophiles. While Grelda soaked up page after page of ancient beer and culinary information, Geisen was able to narrow down the location of the fabled city of Jin-Salast to the Kodar mountain range far to the northeast. This was the location where supposedly the ritual to ascend to godhood could be performed. Vowing to return and continue their scholarly investigations, the group quickly made their way to the monastery of Kur Sabal, Icky's former home. Seeing no movement upon their arrival, they quickly discovered that the entire village had been petrified. Which really shouldn't have come as much of a surprise to anyone, as both Geisen and Gendrick had confirmed that the golden rod was connected to some sort of petrification spell, but anyway, after a long debate about what to do next, the party decided to be extremely slow, cautious, and deliberate as they prepared to cross the bridge. Break the golden rod. Once the Ascended's rod had been broken, the Arakokra were released from their petrification spell that bound them. As the teacher, head of the monastery, recovered, telling Icky there was much to be discussed, a paper bird flew into view, coming to deliver a message directly to Gendrick. Today, the adventure continues.
Alright, so Icky is on his knees in front of the teacher. I believe at the time everybody is inside of the tiny hut except for Gendrick, who had just reached out to grab the paper bird. Gendrick, did you actually exit the tiny hut, or did you just reach out of it? Because the bird can't come in.
Oh, I think I just reached out and snatched it, probably.
Okay. Then, the teacher had said that she had looked at Icky, said, "We have much to discuss." And then, as that happens, she reaches down, she puts her hand on his shoulder, and then Icky stands up, and she just kind of points to the side. Oh, rotate him. All right. She kind of motions past her into one of the rooms you had looked in. There were two rooms on the west side. One was more of like a storage area, and the other one was a small, like a meditation room. And that's where she motions Icky. And then she looks back at the hut and just puts her hand up. I believe I will need to speak to you all as well after. And then she turns and she leads Icky into the side room. And they go in the side room, and she is starting to close the door. And as the door almost closes, up the stairs, you see come the two younger students, along with Rakis Iratek, that you had seen frozen on the first floor. He stops at the top of the stairs, looks right at the room where the teacher and Icky are going into, and you see her just kind of nod to him, and then her gaze goes from him to the hut, and then she nods again and closes the door. And then he, along with the students, kind of turn and look at the hut, and he just stands there and puts his hand across his chest, tilts his head. So, it would seem there's some story here that you might want to share with me.
I get really excited. And
so does Tarnan, seeing her look excited.
sing him the song of the dragon. The two songs I've written.
So Sanishi, just inside of the hut, as soon as he says that, instead of answering, she just breaks out into song. Yes.
As she's preparing to break into song, I kind of lean over to guys and say, should you just cancel the spell, or do we need to walk out of this?
As long as I cast it, I may as well keep it just in case. But so let's just walk out.
Okay.
Just a quick thought. Do we trust, Icky wasn't supposed to come back here. They're not taking him somewhere to off him, right?
At this point, Tarnan switches over to Whisper and whispers to Geisen, if that's the case, he walked into it wanting it to happen, and we'll have to decide if we want to have to face him as well.
Okay, let's just leave him be then, and let us know if he needs help.
So, Sanishi has just begun which causes Rakis's eyebrow to raise a bit further, and his head tilts a little further. And he just kind of stares at the outside, the outside of the hut. That he doesn't actually see anybody in there because of the opaque nature of it. He just hears this half-orc voice begin belting out of the inside of it.
Tarnan will gently guide her out.
All right.
As I walk through, kind of startle. Oh, do I need to start over? Could you hear that?
No, that's all right. You can just keep going from where you left off last.
All right, cool. Strike a pose and continue. Keep.
I take it you're not the only one in there.
Oh, I follow her out.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out too.
So, how many of you were in that the hut?
Well, we're the Sandpoint 5. Wait.
It's still at 10.5. There are 6 of us.
Shouldn't it be 7.6 then?
Well, we just met this guy.
Some of us just met him.
But we really just met Gendrick. Seems cool. Been through enough.
I'm a friend of Icky's, so we've been traveling together for a short span. But these are the Sandpoint 5, in case you haven't heard of them.
I haven't, but
We forgive you.
right. So you're the ones that Icky mentioned in his note, and then he actually reaches into his pocket and pulls out the paper bird that you had written and sent off earlier. So, I take it you know the dragon and the thing that visited us?
The dragon made it here as well.
That's how he got here. The note mentioned a dragon, and it wasn't lying. There was a dragon and a rider in a purple robe, and it's the last thing I remember.
The purple robe looked like this. Whip out the robe from my.
If you add a hood onto that, yes, that was exactly it.
Unfortunately, that got too bloody for me to keep.
So, I suppose thanks are in order. Mind telling me who the bastard was and why he came after us?
No. He was a bastard? You were here?
Trying to keep as much personal information out of it as I can. That specific individual had a history with me before he started working with, I guess we're just calling him Kurzog now. Anyway, the short version for you is he was looking for an item that would help him bring his lord back from the underworld or something to that effect and help him ascend to godhood. At least that's the story that we were given, and based on our adventures in the last month, there's some truth to it.
All right, Lars, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that we'd probably let Icky fill him in on the details if he wants to do that.
So, why did Icky think or know that he was going to come after us?
You'll have to get the details from Icky himself. Again, what I can tell you is that he had a vision or a dream that gave him some forewarning.
Interesting. Well, and then he walks up to Tarnan, and he is actually probably 2 or 3 inches taller than you. And he stops in front of you, and then puts out his hand. Well, regardless, I know we have you to thank for whatever happened, for fixing it, so the gratitude of me and my people is yours.
Glad we could be of service. Tarnan shakes his hand with all the decorum that he can muster.
Although, and then he looks back into the room that the Icky and the teacher had went into. I don't know how that's going to go. I suppose
Which
we'll
part?
see.
Icky's not in any danger here, is he?
I'm going to guess not. If, with you coming back and saving us from whatever it was, I don't think the death that had been promised him would come to pass, but past that, I don't know. It's not often the teacher's word is gone against. And when she put that down, never thought I'd see the lad again.
I don't think message. I don't have to actually be able to see somebody, right? Yeah, okay. Gyson's gonna cast message and just like check in with Icky. Icky, just checking. Are you okay?
I will let Nate tell you how that goes, as I don't want to speak for him, and he should be here in the next 20 minutes or so, but... So put a cork in that response. I wrote down what you said, and we'll have Icky get back to you on that. Because we will, Nate will be here at about 8:30, he said, so when he gets here and this is done, we'll play his conversation as well, and then I'll come back together. So, what did you come back to here? What happened to us? I just know that one minute I was looking up at that damn ugly ass black dragon, and the next the sky was empty and the young ones were telling me to come up and see the teacher.
Arnon steps aside and motions to Geisen and secondarily to Gendrick. These are my magic users. You probably get better answers from them. And then Tarn kind of wanders a little bit farther back to stay in the background.
You've been petrified since the dragon was here.
Do you know, what day is it? Do you know how long that was?
Do we have any idea when?
You sent the paper dragon, or the paper bird.
Paper dragon.
Paper dragon. It is a gigantic piece of paper. Billboard, folded. I would say it's been less than a day altogether.
Oh. I'd say it's been less than a day altogether.
Gendrick then replies with a surprisingly accurate estimation on the time. Hours and minutes.
What's that? Does he have that? Does he have a feat?
I just thought it sounded very artificial. I thought it was cool sounding.
Give me an intelligence check.
I get it.
Okay. 21.
21? Then you actually do, you look up at the sky, kind of look up, do the math in your head, and you're relatively close within about 10 or 15 minutes. All right. Thank you, I suppose. Still trying to wrap my head around this. What was she looking for?
And Tarnan stops talking again since he's wandered away and just lets Geisen and Kendrick handle this part.
I mean, as Tarnan said, he was looking for something to help him ascend to godhood. And again, I feel like we should leave it to Icky to explain the particulars.
All right. Well, again, our thanks. Until they're done talking, what is it I can do for you? Is there anything you would need of me or us while we wait?
Got any cool axes?
Don't have much need of them up here. So sadly, got a staff, if you would use that, but not much more than that.
I could use a good view, a few minutes of quiet where I'm not rushing to save the world or myself or friends or villagers. And if you have it, I think I'd try a pipe. Maybe even a drink. I could go for a drink.
Why do you need quiet, Captain?
It would be a pleasant change.
From what?
From all the noise and activity we've had in the last while.
From life?
Turner walks forward, puts a hand on her shoulder, said, "No, I think I'm okay with life now. You kind of pulled me back from that dark chasm that wanted to swallow me internally. And you reminded me that I'm supposed to be a leader. I appreciate that. But from time to time, I still need a moment of thought to myself. Fair?"
Grayson tells Sunishi, let's just give him a little time.
Okay.
And then
You're welcome to come with if you'd like.
Nothing else to do. Could use a place to work on my next song.
Unless, of course, you do have some kind of a bar or something here.
The pipe I can help you with. The drink. We don't have any alcohol up here in the monastery. I can get you water or tea.
Gyson was a little bit surprised at hearing about that from his knowledge of Aarakocras.
The one Aarakocra. I thought all Aarakocras were drunks. But
I just figured so. I figured this was going to be a drunken monastery.
But if you want quiet space, got with a view, that's all we have up here. And tranquil relaxation, meditation, it's kind of our thing.
Lead on.
Do you have a library here?
Nothing that I'd consider a library. We've got some texts, but just a handful.
Would it be alright if I took a look at them?
He looks back at one of the younger Aarakocra that's standing behind him, just kind of nods. As long as you don't mind, as long as you don't mind Huul going with you, I think that's all right.
Sounds great.
All right, kind of nods, and the young Aarakocra walks up to you. If you'll follow me, well, looks down at you. If you'll, because he's still significantly taller than you. If you'll follow me, sir, we've got the books are this way. Got a bench for you to sit on if you'd like.
Appreciate it. What was your name again?
Huul, sir. You can call me Huul.
I'm Gyson. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you, sir. I like your hat. And then he starts walking off.
Thank you.
And he kind of leads you down one of the side stairwells. Tarnin and Sanishi, Rakus kind of nods to you, and he leads you down the other stairwell. And then Gendrick, what are you doing?
Yes, I'm going to ask. Gendrick will ask if there's any kind of a workshop or any type of place where some kind of craft would happen. Stating the fact that, well, I have some maintenance to do on some of my equipment. If I could have a place to do some work in. It might get a little noisy, so I want to do it away from the others.
Let me just get this down. Rakus kind of looks at you. Well, we don't do a lot of work of that sort up here. Most of ours is woodwork of one fashion or another, but I'm sure one of the dwellings could serve that. I have, thankfully, most of them are empty. Thanks to Icky's forewarning, we were able to get the majority of the population out. So until they return, there's some space for you. So as long as you don't mind doing your work in someone's living room, should be able to show you.
Oh, I don't mind. I shouldn't be too long. I will. I'll treat the space with respect too.
All right. He looks at the other younger Aarakocra who is behind him. Oosh, would you take him to your parents' house? Let him do his thing. And the Aarakocra kind of nods and comes up. Yes, sir, you'll come with me. Please. Thank you.
Lead the way.
All right. And then he kind of follows behind Geisen. And so Geisen and Gendrick go out. And since we're doing that, let me... There we go. Bring him back up the cursor ball. So you are in the monastery, which is the large building. All right. Gendrick and Geisen, you head out to the west towards a smaller dwelling. I'm sorry. Gendrick, you head towards a smaller dwelling. So he leads you outside across the wooden, it is about 7 feet wide, but the wind's whipping up and it just, no matter how steady you are on your feet, just the sheer drop and seeing the vast expanse of the island below you just kind of gives you a small sense of vertigo. But it's only about 20 or 30 feet until you get to the next house. And as you enter...
As I walk up the steps, I'm just reciting in my head, not out loud, the steps to produce the feather fall effect, just in case.
just having it right there.
Quite nervous, yes.
So as he leads you inside of this one, it is fairly sparse. It is just one large room. There is a ladder on the other end that kind of leads to what would be a second floor. But there are 3 beds around the outside. Next to each bed is a small, like, one-person writing desk next to each of them. And you see quill, ink, and some parchment paper on top of each of them. The beds are rolled up, and there is just... It's very sparse. The only thing on the walls are a couple of lanterns that are currently out, but above each desk. And then, yes, there is the ladder that would be going up, and he just leads you in. And I hope that this will suffice for what you need. I'm going to be sitting at my desk. I'll be working on my studies. If you need anything, just let me know.
Oh, yes, of course. What was your name again? Sorry. I forgot when you mentioned it. Sorry.
Oos, sir. You may call me Oos. Yes.
Yes, Oos. Yes, this should definitely suffice. So I will leave you to it, and I will tend to my matters appropriately.
All right. Yes. It's a bit sparse, but if you need anything additional, I'll see if I can scrounge it up for you if we would have what you might need.
Sounds great. I'm going to go over to one of the desks and maybe unpack an item or two from a backpack, perhaps a tool from the tool belt or two, and then kind of looking over my shoulder, just making sure Oos isn't too close. I'm going to start reading that, unfolding that bird and reading the letter.
All right. Oos is on the other side of the room and sees you go over to the desk, and as you like lean down towards the desk, goes, would you mind letting me grab the papers off the top before you use that desk? Quirik might not appreciate it being messed with.
Of course. I take a step back and just wait. Yeah.
He picks up the stuff, and it is like the desk is literally just like a flat surface and 4 legs. There is nothing like super nice about it or anything. So he picks up the quill and the quill inkwell and a small stack of paper and lifts it up and kind of walks it over to his desk and sets it down and says, "Oh, all right. It's all yours, sir. If you need anything, just let me know." And then he sits down and sits down at his desk and just kind of it just is back to you and just is focusing on what's in front of him. And then as you unfold the paper, do you still do you have what it said that I sent you?
I do. Yeah. So I read that, and I will leave the rest for interactions in the future.
All right. Then
otherwise, after I read that, I just kind of go about my business. I don't feel like that's a good transition point.
Okay. Perfect. In that case, where's the
So after thought, back when we asked about drinks and you told us they didn't have any, do you think Grelda would have like magically pulled out a drink from her bag or something?
Just went.
Well, no, I mean like I feel
She
like
didn't
Grelda,
share?
you guys want drinks? I've got drinks.
It's Grelda. She pulled out a bar and started shaking stuff up.
Just a thought. I don't know if she would for sure.
No. What I think Grelda would have done is, as soon as they said no and everybody was kind of surprised, she would have kind of walked up behind Geisen and just went, "If you need anything, just let me know. I've got you covered."
It's fitting.
All right, then, Geisen, as you are led down the stairs to that open first floor with the statue, kind of turns to the opposite way that Gendrick went and leads you to just another small room with a very flimsy wooden door and pushes it open. And you can see there is a single desk, a chair, a small 2-person bench, and then like a 3-shelf bookshelf. And there are 2 books on the top shelf that are standing up kind of close to each other. There's 1 book laying flat in the middle shelf, and on the bottom shelf there are 2 that one is like kind of on its side, like at an angle, and the other one is pushed up as far to one side as it'll go. And it is the sparsest looking bookshelf you've ever seen, but there are 5 books there.
All right, what was the kid's name again?
It was
Huul.
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 Thank you.
And he does have a bit of an owl look to him.
Thank you, Huul. Do you mind if I peruse the bookshelf?
If you want, I know each of us needs to read those books through at least once, but we don't spend a whole lot of time reading them. So I hope that they're still in decent condition for you.
I'm sure they'll be fine. Thank you.
What was that?
I'm sure they'll be fine. Thank you. And then Geisen just walks over to the bookshelf and scans over the titles.
All right. Hi, Nate. Oh, I must not be on yet. Oh, there we go. The 2 on the top. One is it says the story of Desna, and it is it's the deity that Icky kind of follows. And on the one on the left says it's the known history of Varisia, and it's actually relatively thick. The other, the one on the bottom shelf is the one in the middle shelf that's on it that's flat it says the Chimera's excretory system, a new study. And then on the bottom shelf, you look down, the one that's leaning at an angle is rodents of medicine. And then the one that is as far to the left of it that it can go is a concise guide to the wartime use of long swords and slings.
So a hell of a lot of choices here. I guess I'll go with the Chimera excretory system.
All right, you pick it up, and even like you can tell that it has been used a little, but it still does have just dust kind of caked to certain sections of it. But you pick it up, and it's relatively thick. It's probably like 150, 200 pages.
Is Huul still? Is he like standing there?
He is actually standing still, like in the doorway with his hands together, just kind of leaning slightly forward, just watching you.
So Huul, I'm curious. For what purpose do you have to read these books?
just to practice our reading, our writing, and make sure we speak common fluently, just in case we end up conversing with any humans or anybody that's on the island.
Makes sense. Okay. I guess I'll start flipping through.
All right. How much time would you like to spend with the book?
I messaged Tarnan and ask him can you let me know when things are happening? Can you let me know when I need to come back?
DM, at this time, am I still within 120 feet of him?
Yes.
Okay. If I see anything, I'll let you know. Where are you now?
I'm in a hut. I don't remember where.
No, you're in the same building.
Oh,
You're on the first floor of that same building. Just kind of in one of the smaller off rooms.
I'm on the first floor of the monastery in a room with.
You're in the library. And all 5 of its books.
So yeah, so I'll just be downstairs reading because there's not much else to do. But if you see something happening before I do, please let me know.
Understood. Please do the same for me.
Will do. Thank you.
All right.
Then,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So rather than choosing a specific time, he would just basically read for a while until he hears or something happens.
Okay. Well, we'll see how long it takes, and then I will get back to you on what you find out. All right. So, hi, Nate. Hi, Icky. So, just quick recap before we continue with Tarnan and Sanishi. The teacher kind of put her hand on your shoulder, motioned you into a side meditation room, and as you walked in, you saw Rakus, your mentor, come up the stairs with 2 of the young Arakokra at his side. The teacher kind of nodded to him, pointed or motioned with her head towards the hut, and then closed the door, leading the 2 of you in there alone. Gendrick.
Thank you. And I'm going to take a quick moment just to make sure that my mic is working, because I figure it's best to make sure it works now before it's like important to hear what I have to say. I mean, like it's ever important to hear what I have to say.
No.
But fuck you, I said it first.
I can't hear your ramblings at all there, love. I'm sorry. You should futz around for a good, half hour, 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. We'll do.
Good. Thank you.
So Gendrick was taken by one of the younger Arakokra to one of the dwellings to do some work. He sat at a desk and is reading over the paper bird. Geisen wanted to asked if there was a library. He was informed that there is only a handful of books. He was taken to the room with the handful of books. There were 5 books, and he started reading one. And darn it.
Did Grelda go with Geisen?
I don't know. Did she? Or would Grelda go with Tarnan?
I'm thinking Grelda went with Geisen because Geisen was asking for a drink and Grelda's looking for a moment to bring that to him.
All right. In that case, I'd say Grelda would probably be sitting on the bench, just kind of focused. Like she would pull out a horn or a flask and just kind of like keep her eye on Geisen, just kind of waiting for the moment to jump and give him alcohol. All right, then Tarnan asked for a quiet space to reflect, a pipe, and a drink, and was informed that there is no alcohol in Kirsabal.
So I accepted the offer of tea.
Yes, he was offered water and tea, and Rakus led him and Sanishi off, and he takes you down the opposite stairway from where Gendrick and Geisen went. And he leads you back down to the wide open space that you first came to, where you found his petrified body along with the 2 of the younger ones at the edge. of it. Where is it? Ah, it's over here. Two. There we go. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's it. So there's the statue of Desna, and then there's just an open airway to the outside, which you see the island below you. And as he kind of walks you right to the railing, if you would like a quiet spot with a view, this is probably one of the best you're going to get. And he kind of nods to you and Sneeshi. If you would like tea, I will be back with it. But
Thank you.
if you would do me a favor, if you would stay here until I return. Not quite ready for you to have free reign of the monastery, so to speak.
No worries. I will wait.
Right. Green or black?
Whichever seems most appropriate for contemplation.
I know just the thing.
Thank
I'll
you.
be back. And then he looks at Sneeshi. What about you, lass? Would you like one as well? I think you're muted.
I'm always partial to green.
All right, then. I'll be back. So then he steps away, leaving the two of you just right at the railing, looking out onto the island and the forest far down below you.
I'm going to kind of look over the railing, then edge back with till my back is against like the base of the statue. Lean against it and start scribbling notes and thinking and tooting a couple of weird, probably off-key notes and ditties, just trying to figure out, how the fuck I'm gonna write my next song about the Standpoint 5 and our fight with the Ascended and that library and that caretaker.
Give me a quick performance check.
Please roll really well.
But while she's doing that, I just want to say I really like that. I'm sure Rakus thought that she likes green tea, very partial to green tea, and while she's just talking about the color. That's pretty great.
Oh, yeah, he would not have caught that. You're muted again.
14. Sorry, I'm trying
14?
to make sure you guys don't get 14.
Actually, so while you're tooting away on your flute, it's not all of the notes sound of pretty decent quality. It's not like you're off key. It's not sixth grade clarinet practice. Like it's pretty decent. Like you definitely have upped your skills over the past couple of weeks.
I am level 3 after all.
This is true.
Turner kind of cocks his head at her as she leans towards the view and then carefully backs away. Really? Almost a week on the back of a flying bird and holding still next to a railing finally got you to flinch ever so subtly?
But I know Dwayne. I trust Dwayne. I don't know these rocks. You seen how the rest of these things look? I don't know what's going to happen here. This is a little creepy. I know Dwayne's got my back. When I'm on his back.
What about me?
Well, of course you have my back, but you aren't going to be able to save me from falling.
Tarnan tilts his head and cocks an eyebrow and lets it stay quiet. And he waits for his tea. And his pipe. And his corporal's 3.
All right. If you're waiting for your tea and your pipe, it'll probably be a good 5 to 10. I'd say 7 to 10 minutes before he comes back. Is there anything that you'd like to do in that time?
We never got a chance for Turner to have a talk with Obi, because this would be a perfect time for that to happen, but shall we just assume that happens here?
You can have it attempt to happen whenever you like.
Certainly. Let's he just kind of opens his mind, pokes out from his mortal coil and feels around to see if she's still present.
Roll a D100 for me.
Oh Lord, this is where Turner falls off and dies and doesn't realize it because he's in the middle of a mind dream. And now you're here forever. Oh. Forever. 22.
22? Okay. Tarnan closes his eyes and opens his mind, and you feel that same, like the wind, it has been swirling around you since you've been up here. You feel that, but it seems to be, instead of like coming against your front, it seems to be swirling around your entire body as your eyes are closed, and you can feel that wind begin to heat up, and in your ears you do hear the crackling of flames. And it kind of, the pitch goes higher. It stays steady for a few seconds. And when it is at its peak, you do feel a sense of calm and accomplishment that you have, the task you have set out has been completed. And you feel that while a debt has been repaid to you, you don't feel as though you are done repaying a debt. And then the heat and the wind kind of go back down.
Okay. Questions will happen, and we'll do this offline sometime. Questions will happen right about there. Before the heat can die down, he'll ask a couple of questions, and we'll see if he gets some kind of response. If
That's up to you. You can do it now. It depends on if you want to do it in front of the group or not.
It's not that I don't want to do it in front of the group. It's that I don't want to monopolize that much potential game time.
But what if we want to see it?
Then say so.
I am more than happy to see Tarnan OP with his imaginary friend.
I'm interested.
And by OP, I mean RP with OB.
Oh,
I've been wording at people for 10 hours today. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just not happening cleanly now.
Does we have the high ground?
No, actually, I had to go down, so I no longer have the high ground. Well, looking over the edge, maybe he does. So in that moment, when he's feeling that he has not fulfilled his portion, he'll ask, "What more would you ask of me?"
All right. In that case.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So we can pick up right from where we left off. So what did Tarnan say just before we stopped?
I don't remember how he put it, but basically the gist of it was, what more would you have me do?
All right. So again, that the wind is swirling around you, and it is blocking out all outside noise that you were hearing. Just the ambient noise, the Sanishi playing on her flute. Just it dies down slowly until it becomes background noise, and then you just can't hear it at all. The wind ramps up, and you just feel the warmth around you rise, and it's the same feeling you had during the dream when you spoke with Obi directly the last time. and it just envelops you, and it's warm to the point where you feel like you should feel pain. Your body is expecting pain, but it's more a sense of comfort and calm. And your eyes are still closed, and you don't see anything past your eyes where you were seeing like the sunlight coming through your eyelids. That light now is like crackling like flames. And in your head, you just hear the familiar voice. I have kept up my side of the bargain. You had your revenge. But there are still innocents that need protected.
There will always be innocents that need protection. Am I to serve you indefinitely?
You may serve me as long as you like, though the gifts that were given will only be given to one who serves. There will always be innocents in need of protecting, and I will always need someone to protect them.
So, surely you can see into my heart, into my mind already. You know I want that. I want more now to be part of the fire, part of the light that protects others. But I don't know that I kind of want to be where you are. Is that my new goal? Is that my new end of the bargain? At the end, when my work is done here, when I am done serving you and whomever you serve, will you call me to you?
I control not where your soul goes once your journey is done, but those who serve me truly end up in a place that is wanted, that is where they desire to go. You were walking the path of darkness, and you have stepped into the path of light. If you continue on that path, when your journey is done, you will reach a place where you will be content, and where you will meet the others in your life who have also walked the path of light.
I freely admit now that I was naive and thought you called to me alone. I understand now there are others that work with and for you. I admit to being somewhat jealous, but curious now to meet them as well. That is a discussion for another time, if you'll permit. My vengeance is complete, and it still feels surreal and hollow. Is that by design?
When we've wanted something so desperately for so long and finally get it, sometimes we're not fully ready to realize that we've achieved our goal. Your mind, your body, your soul may take some time to realize that it should be at peace.
Thank you for your continued guidance. Do you have any suggestions on how I proceed further?
Down the path of light. It will always take you where you should go.
I will try.
And that is enough. And as she speaks, you feel the temperature slowly begin to drop, and your skin, which had felt so warm, now the wind that's swirling around you actually makes you feel cold as you feel that presence kind of back away. It's like being in a hot tub and then stepping out. It just you start to shiver just from that heat dissipating. And Sanishi, as you're sitting behind him, writing down and playing on your flute, you actually watch as Tarnan just, like, his whole body begins to shiver for a moment before it becomes calm again.
Shakes up the last of the chills. And he sits there in contemplation, still waiting for his smoke. And tea. And any reaction that Sanishi may have.
Cool new trick, boss. Shiny.
Thank you. Actually, yeah. Thank you. How comes the song?
You know, bits and pieces, melodies and harmonies, lyrics and words.
Rhyme?
Yeah. Hey. Scribble something down.
I think I know how you feel in this moment. It's a beautiful view.
Uh-huh. Just totally distracted back to my, tooting and scribbling and, yeah, he did a cool, glowy, sparkly thing, but it's fucking Tarnan, man. I'm just trying to write my song.
It's just run of the mill. It just happens.
I mean, it's cool. I acknowledged it. It's
Okay.
cool new trick.
All right.
What do I know what you can do?
So, we will kind of pause, rewind, Scooby-Doo, and back up, and Icky.
Yes.
The teacher closes the door, and you are in one of the small meditation rooms that are off of the monastery. It's 6 by 6, like it's just enough room for one or two people to meditate in here, and you have been in this particular room on numerous occasions during your time at Kirsabal. And as the teacher turns to you, she is easily a half a foot shorter than you, but just the way she has always carried herself and the way that you were raised with her, she just feels like she towers over you. And she just turns and looks up at you in the eye. So, I take it you have a small story for me.
Icky, just like this half-hearted chuckle of like, teacher, if I could tell you my story, nothing would make me happier if you would listen.
You have saved us.
Again, with that, Iggy just starts like visibly shaking, you know, kind of like.
She takes a claw, puts it out on you, like touches your shoulder. Even banished with your note, we were able to get the majority of our people out and away. And then they came, the dragon and the man in the purple robe, and the next thing I remember, I was staring at a wall. And there was a small hut in the floor. And a banished Arakokra had returned. So you have earned a chance to speak, if nothing else.
So Icky just, you know, like offers the very deep ceremonial bow to the teacher, and he like with like accompanied like begun with a maybe 3/4 hearted chuckle that is immediately stifled at the mention of the wall. And he's just like, of course, he's like first, allow me to apologize for the unorthodox companions that I have come with. They care for me so much that in my worry over you, they felt it was safest to move you away from when I broke the artifact that seemed to be holding you all in place. So then at that point, like Icky kind of like, I'll kind of paraphrase, but Icky basically just tells the whole fucking story at this point, how like he was, you know, like how he felt lost initially leaving, found himself quite enjoying the drink, the story of like meeting these friends in Sandpoint, the encountering of the angry water that that we had encountered in the cave, the murders, the people that seemed to idolize Icky, and then and just how it all connected to this Sahedrin and Kurzog business, culminating in how we came to Kursabal and the Hollow Mountain and the events therein. Once that story, once that story is absorbed and kind of the conversation around it wraps up, he would bring up the presence of the library and the automaton there. But if there's more to talk about the journey before, like if there's more to talk about the journey he's had and how that impacts Kursabal, he would talk about that before getting to the library.
Okay. So just, you take a few minutes over this conversation to just recap everything. Right towards the end, when you've got to the talking about the librarian and the automaton in there, you do hear Geison's voice pop into your head, asking you if everything is okay.
So in the midst of it, so he's just like, because all this is just like pouring out of Icky as it happens, and he like kind of starts, and he's like, Geison, yes. So yes, I can't now, but soon. And then cuts it.
Okay. I must admit that is a far more entertaining tale than I had expected.
He chuckles. He's like, well, you know me, teacher. I have always aimed to entertain.
In one way or another, you have. But your story of the mountain and the cave and the library. The edict to not go in that cave, to not, has come down generations before myself. And if I'm being honest with you, which you deserve, I don't know why. Or at least I didn't know why. But now it seems as though it was to protect not only us, but Varissia. But if you would not have gone there, this ascended individual might have gotten what they needed, and their particular deity or god, whoever that Herzog might be, would have this item. So it seems that you've not only saved your people, but you've done a service to Varissia as a whole.
He's just like, again, like just like kind of starting to shake again, but not in a like an overwhelm of just like vindication and just like it like the final vestiges of the weight from banishment are starting to shake loose.
You made a bad choice that cost your fellow Arakokra their lives. And you paid the price for that. And it seems as though you've paid it deeply. You felt it deeply. And I might be old, and I might be right most of the time. But I can also admit when things have changed. So Icky, welcome back.
Icky just like kind of chitters in like a happy bird tone, like again, like just suddenly like silence, and like gets himself back into like just like the very like, you know, like proper ceremonial respectful bow, and he just like looks up and he's just like, it's good to be home.
And then she walks up to you and she puts both her hands on both of your shoulders. And this is your home. And you and everyone else here will always know that. Now, who's in the hut?
Those would be my friends. I, for so many reasons, would not be here without them. As I said, they're an odd bunch, a little boisterous by Arakokra standards. But They are genuinely the best group of companions that I could have asked for during this journey. And neither of us would be standing here without them.
Well, we don't always know the path our choices will lead us, but it seems that yours has taken you where you should be going. Now, I would like to meet these companions of yours.
I'm sure they would love to meet you. And I would love to take in home again.
And you shall, for as long as you need to. Come. Let us talk. And she turns. She takes her hands off of you, just motions you to rise, turns, and opens the door and steps out. And that is about the time that you both step out as Rakkus is kind of coming into view with 2 cups of tea. And he's walking along the opposite wall, getting ready to head down the stairs, and he stops. And he turns and he looks at you. So, Icky, are you staying this time?
And so, like, Icky has, at this point, like, despite having just been, like, you know, gotten the, hey, bro, we cool talk from the master, from the teacher, is like incredibly taken aback by that particular line, like from Rakkus, because just like because you know, like he still feels like he's like, man, like he screwed over, like yeah, he screwed over his people, but boy did he ever screw over his master. He's like, yeah, like Rakkus, I didn't mean to. Like, he collects himself.
And the teacher, as you collect yourself, the teacher puts a hand on your shoulder. For as long as he'd like.
And it's like he nods back at the teacher and back at Rakkus, and he's like, yeah, well, it would be poor form to not enjoy the comforts of home for a little while. And just kind of like sits on that word home, but then like looks back around, because at this point, like, the party's like started to exit the hut, right? Or are they like on the way to the?
No,
like,
at this point, I would say like this is kind of where everybody's individual spots kind of end. Because you've taken the time to tell a story, so you are the only person from the party that is still up there. Okay. Everybody else is dispersed.
Oh, okay. So it'd be like, so then he kind of like looks around, it's like, but then like, and like kind of looks back at the teacher, and it's like, this is really, we have unfinished business. There's, hey, like again, like looks back at the teacher as he's saying this, like, there are just more people to save.
There are always people to save. There are always people that need saving. Not everybody is willing to put their lives on the line to do it. And it seems that from what you've been up to the past few months, you are. And then Rakkus kind of turns a little further. Well, if you're back, would you mind taking this freaking tea out of my hands and take it down to your fellas down there?
And like, so like, he kind of suspiciously takes the tea. He's like, who is this for?
Well, the black tea is for your half-elf fellow. He wanted a good view and relaxation. And the green tea is for the half-orc lady. The lass, she said she preferred green.
I'm certain that she did.
So if you'll take them down, they're just down They're just down at the lookout down there on the first floor. And when you're ready, just bring them on back up.
Will do, and then manages his best formal bow he can, holding this tea, and it just kind of as he looks back up from the end of the bow, just Raucous, Master, it's so good to see you.
And you're holding the tea, doing the half-hearted bow, and he just chuckles and slaps you on the shoulder hard. And I need give me a quick dexterity check.
I was gonna say please make me make a throw on this. A dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
16.
16. The black tea, you get a little bit of it that spills over the side. I mean, just a little bit, but you managed to right yourself. And he just stands up. Well, it seems like you haven't lost any of your balance and dexterity since I last saw you. Though that bow could use some damn work.
Yeah.
Go down there. Oh, and he says, go down there. And then you start taking a few steps, and he says, oh, when you come back up, I've got something for you.
He's okay. So Icky kind of nods, start grins as best an Aarakocra can. Nods, starts walking away. He says, and just takes a few steps. He's like, "Oh, Raucous, I'm sorry about the bow. It would probably be better, but I hurt my back when I killed a fucking dragon." and then he walks on with the tea.
And as you make your way down the stairs, you just hear a soft, "The hell did he just say?" All right, so then you, Icky, as you walk down the stairs, you do see at that landing, you don't see Sanishi because you're coming kind of along the side of the statue. So you do see Tarnan just kind of standing right near the edge.
Okay. So, is there? I assume both of my hands are taken with tea right now, right? Is there a place within sight between me and Tarnan to put down Sanishi's tea, or at least an opportunity to free a Kaklaw?
Yeah, around the statue, there's I would say there's the base that it sits on. There's a couple of spots that you could, a couple of flat spots you could set up.
Cool. I'll do that, and just as quietly as possible. I would like to. No. I take that back. Quiet and deliberately, but not actively trying to silence myself. I don't want to sneak up on my friend here, but I do want to approach him peacefully and silently. And so I'll come along, put a come up. Am I approaching behind him, or
at this point, Tarnan is facing away from you.
Okay.
Why don't you give me a stealth check?
Okay.
Tarnan, give me a perception check. Or actually, Tarnan, what is your passive perception?
Passive perception?
Passive.
Passive perception. 19.
Wow, I rolled a 19.
I will. Tie goes to, if you're trying to hit AC, tie would go to the attacker. But I will say that. No, I will say that. What was that?
Do a roll off?
No, I would say that because if you're trying to make a saving throw, if you hit it, you win. I will just say that you don't. Wait. No, you do.
Conversation over.
What was that?
Is Tarnan's conversation the vision over? Okay.
Yeah, right. Actually, because we'll do this, and then I will say basically while this is happening, both of you are being told to return as well. This all kind of wraps up around the same time. All right, so I will say that Tarnan does hear some noise behind him, but you just got done with your conversation, so you're not, as far as you know, it's Sanishi. You have no reason to think otherwise, and you're still kind of dealing with the conversation that just happened.
Anyway.
What was that?
I'm totally expecting someone to come back with my tea anyway. So
This is true. You hear someone, but you're not able to, like, you have no idea who. You just, as far as you know, it's Rakis.
So Icky will come up behind Tarn and then just kind of like places a claw on his shoulder, like serve her the black tea in front of him, and like, and just say like, so you found out they don't have beer here, huh?
Now he recognizes the voice and turns ahead and cracks a grin. Actually, that was Geisen. I think was a little more disappointed that we didn't have alcohol. I was open to the idea, taking the tea, of trying something new, because until moments ago, I really didn't have a path. But one thing I was certain of is you and this group is what little I have left of family. Are you good?
Oh, my friend, I am in a strange way better than I've been in a long time. It's, well, they welcomed me back. I can call this place home again. But as I think we both know, our work's not done.
Tarnan smiles. I am so happy to have you by my side.
Happy to
He
be
gives him
here.
a hug. Screw it. He gives him a hug.
Yeah. Can I make a dodge? No, I'm kidding.
You certainly can.
I can, but I'm not going to. Icky just
Okay.
like leans right in because like he's here for it. So like Icky, just gives you a big feathery hug. Maybe it's like plucks out, like, so he gave you a red feather last year, just kind of like brushes his shoulder, like a green feather comes loose, just like kind of like, like gently like places it, like in like, I don't know if it would be most wherever he would probably feel it most visually appropriate on Tarnan, but somewhere in the head or lapel area.
Lapel, probably, yeah.
Okay. Like wherever he had somewhere to put it, just be like, there's another one for you.
Excellent. I am running a bit short on ammunition. This might help.
So at that point, so like, if it, from where Icky is at with Tarnan, if he looks around, would he see Sanishi?
She'd be like right behind him.
Okay, cool. So you're kind of like, oh, and then like, like point at her, look back at Tarnan, like, green tea, really?
I believe the question she was asked was, do you prefer green or black? And she said she prefers or tends to enjoy green, or tends to lean towards green. We're both pretty confident in saying that she wasn't talking about. Never mind. It's
Yeah.
it's
He
probably
just
fine.
chuckles, is like, I'll offer it to her just the same, and goes back, grabs Sanishi's tea from where he set it down and brings it over to you, and says, just like, kind of like a pseudo formal but like little exaggerated, so like he's just being a little theatrical, and he's like, compliments of Rakis, your green tea, my green lady.
Aw.
I didn't know tea came in green. Cool.
It's all better in green, isn't it?
I mean, I've always thought so, yeah. Good.
So like you'll like kind of like put down the tea, like pat her on the back a little bit, look over, like you're working on like songwriting stuff right now, according relating to our recent excursions. Yeah.
Yes.
Like just gonna like look over, like nod, like, no whales, but still quite the tale, huh?
I mean, you heard me sing them that one already.
Like he just like pats her on the shoulder again. It's just like because he's on like excuse the horrible puns. It's just like they're flowing out of me. But like he's on cloud 9 here. He's just like one of my favorites, Nishi. One of my favorites. And if there's no reaction further than that, we'll just kind of look at both of you and be like, so where's everyone else?
All right. On that note, actually, we'll stop there. Gendrick. So I would say like it's been, 10-ish minutes that you've been sitting at the desk. Anything in particular you've been doing, or?
Even though, I kind of took out tools and stuff out of the backpack, I'm just kind of sitting there thinking.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of doing.
All right. Then as you're sitting there thinking, you do hear footsteps come to the door, and then the Aarakocra gets up, kind of makes his way to the door, gets up from the desk, makes his way to the door. You hear some hushed conversations, and then he comes back over to you. Sir, they're requesting you back in the monastery.
All right. I stand up, gather my things, and then I say, all right, let's go.
Right. This way. Yes, Bill.
As soon as so that Geisen isn't caught off guard, as soon as Icky is paying more attention to Sanishi, Tarnan sends a message to him and says, Icky's up here with me. Actually down. Icky's over here with me.
Thanks for the heads up. I'll be over shortly.
Okay.
All right, Geisen, give me a what am I looking for? I think it is a. Give me a wisdom check.
Is that like a saving throw or?
Just roll a d20 and add whatever your just straight wisdom modifier is to it.
Okay. Intelligence, you said, right? 8.
8. You have been paging through your book for the better part of like the 7 to 8 minutes you've been sitting down with it, or you've been standing with it. And while you now know the numerous sizes, shapes, colors, smells, and tastes that the different subspecies of chimera can excrement, the only thing you've been able to learn about them is that they are not. None of them are good in pies, baked goods. There was one study done in a small village where they were able to be dehydrated and eaten for a small period of time, but the nutritional value of them is still up in the air.
Wait. The chimera or their excrement?
The chimera excretory system. And then towards the latter half of the book, it starts going into how their diet, whether it is humanoid, livestock, grain, how that affects the excrement that comes out, and how more study is needed on whether that excrement can be used for any practical purposes. And about that time, you get the message, you close it, you put the book down, and you're just shaking your head. And you just, as you put the book back, the Aarakocra in the doorway goes, Was it worth the read, sir?
Is this after Tarnan contacts me?
Yes.
So it was while I was reading. So yeah. Actually, when Tarnan contacts me and tells me that the stuff's going on, he says, "Oh, thank God!" And then, get a heads up, I'll be up soon. So I set the book aside, and then I tell him, it was interesting. Thanks for sharing your library with me.
Of course.
I think we are supposed to head back.
Oh, all right. All right. Just this way.
Thank you. I follow him.
Okay. Grelda gets up, takes a
Oh,
swig, puts it back. What was that?
I forgot Grilda was there. Yeah.
She was quietly and intently just focusing on you, kind of waiting for you to give her the signal that you wanted alcohol as you were engrossed in this gross study into the Chimera excretory system.
Well, I think at some point he would have looked up and seen her. Did you need something, Grilda?
And she kind of like holds out the wineskin to you. No. Did you need something?
How much do you have on you still? Is it getting low? Because I feel like Tarnan and Icky probably need that more than I do.
Oh, I've always got enough.
Thank you then. So then he sips on one while he goes through that awful book.
All right. So then you make your way in, and you are on the same floor as Icky and Tarnan and Sanishi. You're just a little further away. So you come out, kind of walk through that small hallway, and you do see them all kind of standing together. I would say you rejoin first, and then whenever you guys head upstairs, that's when Geisen kind of comes up as well. Or, I'm sorry, you all meet together, and then, like, as you kind of step to join them, Gendrick, that's when you kind of come in the door, and you see them all standing off on the opposite side, so you begin to walk as well.
Is Icky, like, in the middle of conversation or anything when Geisen walks up, or, like, are they...
This is after Icky had asked where Geisen and Gendrick were, so I'll leave that up to you.
Icky, glad to see you're doing well.
You're muted.
Oh my god, they turned him into a mime!
They cut out his
Silenced.
tongue!
They turn him into a mime. Roll initiative.
So Iggy like kind of like look up or down as the case may be from wherever he is. It's kind of like, again, just kind of like, you can tell like he's just really happy to see Geisen. He's like, oh, Geisen, everything is great. Thank you for everything. But like, thanks for, kind of like taps his head. Like, thanks for reaching out. Sorry to be short. I'll you kind of like, so he's like, I'll tell you all everything. But everything is just better than I could have hoped for. Thank you.
Really glad to hear that. Nothing to apologize for. I just wanted to make sure, you weren't really supposed to come back here. They take you off into some room. Just wanted to make sure things were okay.
Thank you. Good looking out. Does Icky still have the the bits of golden rod, or did I just leave those dropped on the ground?
You tell me. What did after it broke and Icky saw the
Oh yeah, no, he would have just completely like dropped it and left it. So are we still in the same area are we back where it was broken?
That was on the second floor. You're of the monastery.
Okay, cool.
You're down on the first.
Okay,
floor.
Cool. So it is on a different floor. Excellent. Cool. So he'll just like looking both to Geisen and Gendrick. Like, I don't know that I would have had the confidence to break that thing if not for your insights. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You had a tough decision to make, and you made the right one. So good job.
It's the hardest bridge to cross of my life.
Yes, happy to be of service, friend.
All right, so you are all back together. Party is whole once more.
I will,
so
I
we
will add
level
one.
up.
I will add one singular note that as Oos was leading Gendrick down the stairway from the top floor, he took the note out of his pocket, snaps his fingers, and mutters under his breath, and the note just ignites, and then it's just a small piece of paper, so it's not like it's an explosion by any means, but it just turns to ash and wafts into the wind.
All right, and just so you know, you actually you came in on the same floor, so I would say as you walk in the doorway, because he took you down the stairs and then out. So
yeah,
just so everybody's tracking. So yeah, I would say as you walk in the door, it. And
Iggy would absolutely not be looking for that. So.
Oh no, yeah, it was on the other side of the room. I don't think. No, nobody would have seen it.
it's just flavor. It's not something I would do in public. Yeah.
All right, so Gendrick comes up to the group.
Well, here we all are. And in good spirits and home.
So at the mention of spirits, he'll kind of like give a little mischievous side eye to Grelda. You're like, and if she doesn't notice that, maybe like give her a little nudge, a little eyebrow action.
All right, it's closed now.
All right.
So, speaking of alcohol, we will pick up. Back to it.
So yeah, Icky's nudging Grelda for around spirits, and
She just kind of reaches up as high as she can, manages to put a hand like right here on your shoulder, like pats, and then reaches with the other one. What was that?
Mid bicep.
Just I've always got something for you.
oh, my internet just went horrible. I lost like most of what was said there.
Oh no, she reached up as high as she could, which is probably like right here on your shoulder, mid bicep, maybe up to the shoulder. Just taps it. Always got something for you.
Just like, I know you do, Grelda. He grabs like, thank you so much. You're the best of them. And just,
As you take that sip, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
No, as you take that sip, you all do see the teacher and Rakkus kind of descending the steps together. Come on. There we go. And the teacher just looks down at all of you. I hate to interrupt this interesting imbibing moment, but Icky has mentioned that your work isn't done. Is there anything that we can do to help, since you have helped us?
So Iggy kind of like look to the group and like, we haven't really had a chance to plan the next move. It was always just stop the Ascended, save these people.
I've been doing that the last 5 years of my life.
Like he was like kind of claps Tarn on the shoulder, like, and now for part 2.
Great.
So what's our move here? Do we looks back to Tarn? Do you think that your contact would know, or is there should we talk to them, because they had other components to this ritual, did they not?
Yes. We could definitely seek more answers there if we don't have a direction.
Do you trust them to know that we have the scales?
No. But they keep telling us they're going to destroy the things. My thought is we hold on to this one piece until we know they've destroyed one of theirs, and then we can give them this piece because they need 3 to do the ascending. If they destroy one, they can have ours. Thoughts? Geisen? Gendrick? And Grelda and Shinichi, of course, you're welcome to chime in, but...
I mean, if they can find a way to destroy it and actually are destroying it, then that would be great. I mean, I don't know how to destroy this. I kind of look to Gendrick, because he would probably be the one with the most knowledge.
Gendrick thinks I feel like it'd be more likely that the whatever magical property like is embedded with it is more. I feel like he might have more practical knowledge in application of magic to make perhaps a machine function or give this item some property. But as far as destroying it, doesn't have any ideas, I would say. Without more thought and maybe planning, perhaps.
How would we know to trust them? Like, if we go there and they say they destroyed the other one, how do we know they destroyed it and they're not just holding it, waiting for others?
You had a moment with a certain wizard and her familiar.
Heka, Mary?
Mary and Heka, yes.
Tarnan specifically did not mention who was what.
Oh, okay.
He simply said a wizard and her familiar. That's all he said. Do you feel you could trust her if she said she took one of those things out, found a way to destroy it?
I didn't sense any deception from her. So I think she's probably trustworthy, but I think we would maybe have to gauge at the moment when she tells us.
Okay. So what I'm seeing is we've got multiple paths. We should probably at least tell them that the third object has been taken out of play for now. Give them the go-ahead to figure out how to destroy those 2 items they have. And once they've destroyed those, we will make sure to secure the third item for them to destroy. Along with that, we still need to figure out what the hell's going on with the Kurzog and I'm forgetting the name of the mountain, Jason. Can you help me out again?
It was
The Foot Mountain?
Jinjalaths we were looking for in the K something mountains.
What was that, Joe?
No, never mind. I had the wrong one.
The mountains, the Coder Mountains, I believe.
Coder Mountains. That was it.
That's where, yeah.
But that's a pretty big target.
Yes. In the time you spent in the library, you were only able to determine that Zinjalast was in the Kodar mountain range, but it is a substantial mountain range.
So yeah, I guess that's another path, is try to dig up more information
At the library before we run off to save the universe. How many paper birds do we have left? Do we use one to get a hold of your wizard friend and see if she's making progress, or do we need to go there in person to discuss this? I mean, do we want to bring we don't really want to bring our item right next to theirs, do we? I don't want to bring our item close to them until we know we can trust them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe that's and Tarnan looks over at the teacher and I forgot his name.
Rackus.
If we can find a little bird or something, I do have a way of sending a message through that as well.
Like not 6.5, 7 foot tall birds. You're talking like a sparrow or something.
Yeah, like something the size of a songbird.
Okay.
I can send a message up to 25 words.
Perfect. And they will be able to respond?
I don't think so.
I hate to admit my failures as a failure of leadership here, but other than going to search the library to find where in the frickin' mountains we're supposed to be going next to put a stop to this, I don't have another real good plan. I was kind of distracted and sidelined for a few moments. I need to get myself back on track here.
I don't think we've gotten any concrete information of where to go next. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little bit biased about going back to the library, check out those books. But I think that's a good option considering how close we are. I don't know where else we're going to get that kind of information right now.
Well, it was put in our path for a reason, I imagine.
Icky will kind of like look at the teacher and Rackus, just be like, would either of you like to come, or maybe send some? Like, is it just like, as far as like other Arakoka in the area, is it like just the two of them, or are there some of like the younger ones around as well?
There's the two of them that have come down the stairs. The two younger ones, Huul and Quirk. Huul and Quirk. They are on the same floor as you. Like, they had brought Geisen and Gendrick back, and then they kind of backed off a little bit, and they're just kind of standing off to the side. They're still there, but they're off to the side.
So I guess it would kind of like, or like gesture towards them, so like, or like a representative to check out this library. Like, I understand if it's too soon to send another Aarakocra to that place, but this library seems like it's something that if we're not going to leverage, we should at least protect.
Tarnan nods heartily and then steps forward and actually speaks to the teacher. Forgive my impertinence, but if you do owe us any thanks, I would try to convince you that that library needs protecting, not just keeping your people out of it, but preventing it being used for other ill purposes. It is a huge trove of information. Who knows what's in there?
Given it has gone so long without being discovered, and the Ascended, as far as we have, reason to believe, never made it in there, might it not be a decent spot to hide the scales so we don't have to carry them and they won't go with us to the place that can, make people gods if they have 3 of these items? And
that's a really good idea. They've been safe there for how long. The only difference now is the angry water isn't there, but if our tribe is there to protect it, that's probably the safest place for them, right?
Well, with respect, I need to point out that the Ascendant was sent there by his master. So somebody knows where they were. I have no desire to put your people in further harm's way, but I have no desire to see that library fall either.
Yeah, and both the library and the scales are both valuable targets, so putting them together, you're right, that's a risky move.
I think
Do you
that
perhaps have any allies in Sandpoint, or allies or organizations that could perhaps protect such an item? I'm not sure the state of Sandpoint these days, but
Are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
just to the group, Tarnin and Icky specifically.
I have some contacts back in name of Big Town.
Magnamar?
Magnamar that could probably make these scales disappear, at least until they discover what they are, and then they could be up for sale. Or we could try to twist Ironbriar into this and see if he would hide an object for us as a small favor for saving a village under his care. Thoughts? Concerns? Cries of moral outrage?
Sandpoint has likewise been attacked as a part of this whole quest for getting these things. So it does feel a little bit like the second place they'll look.
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable doing that.
At the same time, they've already found these objects in both these locations. When you've already, found something in your knapsack and you lose it again, you don't go looking back in your knapsack because you moved it. You know it got moved.
Oh, that's not true. I've seen you do that dozens of times.
So
I said you, not me.
So Icky starts looking from Sinishi's mouth to her stomach. From her mouth to her stomach to Geisen to Sinishi's mouth. It's like, hear me out. Geisen, what would happen if you made her into something bigger and she ate them and then she went back to normal?
Yeah. What?
Help me!
You can certainly find out.
You can certainly find out.
We can all find out together if you go that route, and we take a 5-minute break. So I start Googling things.
I don't think.
Would Geisen have some how, because of how the spell works, like he would be able to guess what might happen?
I honestly would say no. I would say even in your still limited use of polymorph, that's not something that's come up. And the only thing you've ever dealt with is things that have been on like the outside of a person. You've never really dealt with the excretory system.
But he just read this wonderful book that gave him details on how this kind of stuff might work.
In a chimera, not in a polymorph chimera.
Maybe there's
What's the difference?
Maybe there's a book in the library about eating things when you're polymorphed.
Polymorphed excretory systems.
I can't believe that the books that you had him read weren't a setup for this exact solution.
How could I
Can't
not
believe it? Cannot fucking believe
I didn't
it.
see that coming.
I just want to make sure we're tracking this. We're going to carry the scales with us by turning Sunishi into...
Nobody will know!
You're right. I prefer the woolly mammoth over the Tyrannosaurus
And like,
thing.
Sanishi has proven herself nigh indestructible. She's clearly the best hiding place.
So the teacher looks down at everybody as you're trying to figure these things out.
Thank God.
With everything you've been through, and the fact that this conversation seems to be at a middle closer to than an end, could I offer you lodging for the night? Get some rest. Decide on a course of action. Decide if you need anything from us before you move on with these scales in whatever fashion you decide.
Sounds like a great idea. I know we're all, well, I feel like we should all be very weary after all of the combat that we've been seeing of late, but I feel strangely spry, like I've just kind of reached a new level, you know? But still, I'm tired. It's been a lot.
You lose a level for the pun right there.
Oh.
It's kind of like that homecoming effect, I imagine. The weight has been lifted, even though your body is still exhausted.
Yeah,
you just feel better.
No.
It would. So yeah, like Icky just kind of like looks around like to everybody in attendance, just like it would mean the world to me to stay under these roofs tonight.
Done.
Okay, so we're leaving then, right?
Icky pushes Geisen off the edge.
Does he at least go to catch him? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And like puts him up back on the ledge, gives him a little peck on the forehead. You're not sure if he meant it as a kiss or something aggressive.
Dunk.
What I can do, while we wait for the rest of our numbers to return, I can set watchers to watch the entrance to the cave. I do not feel comfortable letting our people go in there, as with what you fought and what might come, I do not want to sacrifice our members, because they would not be able to stand against what we faced. They can let us know.
To that point, we are still missing a large black dragon.
As far as I'm concerned, it can stay missing.
I would be happy if that's what happens. I am more concerned about it showing up whenever we're not around. Icky, you've managed to kill one dragon, and I say we take the opportunity to get rid of another if we can.
I think it's a great starting point. We shouldn't try to force a bridge that isn't there. If we can't find this dragon, yeah, feel the hurt, feel it. But yeah, if we can find any leads at all about it, I think that's a great starting point.
Well,
why not make it 2 dragons? And Gendrick needs to cut his teeth on a dragon yet.
True.
Like,
well,
I'm sure you could probably get some juicy bits from a fire-breathing dragon, my friend.
Yeah, I can't say I've had the pleasure of, pleasure is the term, fighting a dragon, but I feel safe in your company. I feel like if this is something we need to do to further our goals, I feel like together you can do it. Like you said, you've done it before, so.
But I know I ask this all the time, and it so rarely happens. If at all possible, could we get information from it before we kill it this time? kind of sideways glance at Grilda, and then pointedly look the other side again.
Oh.
She just looks at you, looks down, and she like pats the top of Sasha. And you all hear, she says very quietly, but you all still hear her. She goes, "It's okay. It's not your fault." She just kind of pats Sasha on the... They don't mean it. And then the teacher Huul? I gotta pick a different name now because of you guys. Huul, would you show them a place to rest? When you've had your rest, if you need anything, please let one of us know, and we will see what we can do to aid you in your whatever your next step is. And then Huul steps forward, just kind of nods. If you'll come with me, you can stay where we usually sleep. We need to go get the rest of our people anyway. If you'll come please. And then he kind of like hunched over, begins to walk out.
As the group starts to move.
It's not a nest.
Say again?
I hope it's not a nest.
As the group starts following Huul, Tarnan takes like a couple steps and then something dawns on him. He turns around and looks at the teacher and says, "May I ask one question of a personal nature from me?"
You can always ask.
He produces a small illusion of Obi and says, "Are you familiar with a creature like this?"
She stares at it for a second. I am not personally familiar with the phoenix, but it is something I've heard of.
Who would such a creature serve?
The phoenix is a creature of the light. As to who it might serve, I don't know, but I know what it serves. And it serves the light.
He extinguishes the image. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Thank you for your insight. He manages to do a bow. Should I roll performance check?
No.
Okay, he manages to do a bow and follows his friends.
Okay. And then, so as everybody begins to follow, Huul,
Who?
Raucous.
Who are we following?
Huul. Who's on first? Huul's on first. Huul's in the lead.
All right. Well, I think we found the session name. Huul's on first.
Oh my god. Oh, I will never ever be able to name characters with you guys. Anyway, as everybody is following your Aarakocra guide, Raucous takes a couple of steps down the stairway. Icky. And then you see him kind of he pulls up his tunic slightly and whips off his belt and holds it, like folds it in half, kind of snaps it, holds it up and begins walking to Icky. Sure. Since you've killed a dragon. And then he kind of drops one hand and holds it out to you. Maybe you could use this to kill the other. And he gives you the belt. And you know that this is a belt that he has had the entire time you've known him. And it is a dark red, like a crimson red color. And you've always known that it has a scaly hide look to it. And he just kind of hands it to you. I think that'll help you. And if you do manage to get another one, maybe you'll return with another one of those. And I need you to check your inventory for Dragonhide Belt.
Let me just do a quick refresh just to be sure. Because I did fire up D&D Beyond in here like last night. So, inventory. Dragonhide Belt, +1, wondrous item. This finely detailed belt is made of dragonhide. While wearing, is it okay that I'm reading this, or do you want to? Okay,
No,
I'm sorry. I just realized I don't want to steal your DM thunder.
Oh no!
But I'm excited about receiving this. So this finely detailed belt is made of dragonhide. While wearing it, you gain a +1 bonus to the saving throw DCs of your key features. Shit. In addition, you can use an action to regain key points. What? Equal to a roll of your martial arts die. You can't use this action again until next dawn. Okay. Holy shit.
It is one of the few items that is monk only.
God damn. It has a char. Okay, yeah, that's the dawn char. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my god. So like how aware of the properties of this belt is Icky offhand? Like, because like, is this something that like he receives? Because like, obviously he's very aware of the import because Rockus has always had it. But as far as the properties of the belt, is something that he's gonna need to like, after he's like snuggled with it tonight, or maybe put it under his pillow, he'll
I would
wake
say
up
that
knowing
you
all
don't
the details.
You don't know what it does right off the bat because Rockus has never told you, so you would need to spend an hour with it or find some other way. And so at the time you would just know that Rockus was giving you something that he'd always had. You didn't know. I will say at this point you don't know what it actually does, but I want to make sure you found out before the session.
Yes. Thank you. But great. That gives the perfect context I need for Icky to respond to the situation. So he, he receives it from is Rockus like? So you said he just like kind of like put out the one.
Yeah, he had it, snapped it, then kind of dropped one hand and just held it out to you.
So he will Icky will receive it and like his one claw, and then kind of like unfurl it. Take a good look at it, look up and just, look with clear like reverence and appreciation, and just just again like that joy of seeing his old master again. He folds the belt over, cracks it out like Rockus had, and then goes and gives him like the most proper ceremonial bow that he can manage.
You know what? You give me a performance check.
You drop the belt off the cliff.
Oh.
No, I've got a +4 on performance. I rolled an 8, but that's a 12 total.
Okay, so as you bow, you're very you feel good about it, and you just hear, "It's a bit better."
Well, I thought my back was feeling better, but he kind of mock snaps the belt again. Doesn't do the full thing. He's like, but guess I've got a little bit of recovery to do yet.
All right, so
loops it on.
You all follow. You put the belt on, and you all follow Huul out. And it's you go into the building that Gendrick had been led to. So as Huul kind of walks in, there's 3 beds on this floor, and if you follow the ladder up, there are 3 more beds upstairs. There's not much here, unfortunately. Probably not the refinement that you're used to. But if you need anything, we can try and scrape it together. Hopefully, this will give you a good place to sleep. If you need anything, please let us know. Thank you. And he kind of slowly backs out.
So before Huul makes his way out, would Icky have encountered Huul at all in their time together? Well, like, would he have any idea who Huul is?
Woohoo!
I hate
Woohoo!
all of you.
I'm ruining this for Sean, you guys.
Woohoo!
It's way too late for that. Way too many sessions too late for that. With I will say, like, you don't know him, but you would have heard of him because you've been gone for 5 years.
Right.
You would know that the monk training takes 5 years to be complete from 13 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
5 years. I would like he would have been still a young child, but you would have known of him.
Okay, cool. So like know enough to know that like the name is familiar, and I know that he's in training right now.
Yes.
Cool.
And with you would absolutely know that he is one of the monks in training.
So he would it could kind of quietly come up to Huul and be like quiet, like speak just to him, not like being deliberate so that nobody else could hear, but just giving the impression of, hey, this is like a conversation just between the two of us. Like, you don't have to worry so over much about them. They're quite accommodating.
He kind of looks up at you, looks at them. Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. And then he looks at you like right in the eyes. Thank you. Again. Like bows and kind of makes his way, backs out, and leaves.
So, Icky, how bad did we embarrass you with the really half-hearted attempts at bowing and are having no idea what your culture is like? Because, someone never really talked about it before.
If there's any, so like Icky, like kind of swirls around the last of what Grell had given him because he stashed it away once all the shenanigans and conversations had finishes off and you all were aces.
Excellent.
Speaking of your culture, why is there no beer?
Geisen, I've been asking myself that for the last 5 years. I knew of it, in my young days, but with a combination of wistfulness and sadness, so I just never really got to experience it until my banishment.
But it's not like a belief thing. Like they don't seem to be against it. Like you felt comfortable drinking it around them.
DM, I'm gonna ask for a little help
All right,
here.
I was gonna. It is not a religious or a belief thing, just because of the monk training and just the overall attitude of the monastery. It's just not something that has been welcomed. It is at one point a previous teacher had just said no alcohol, and everybody has been
Yeah, all right.
and very few. Well, you yourself and others have been curious. Nobody's ever really rallied against it. Everybody's just understood.
Okay. So thank you very much.
I'm gonna look around a little and just where should I put my empty teacup?
Is Raucus is here, right?
No. Raucus did not follow you.
Oh, right. He didn't come with us.
No.
Oh, shit.
And
Okay.
I did specifically wait until we were alone before asking.
Huul
Okay.
came with you, kind of showed you, and then left. So it's just the 6 of you now.
So it's just all right. So it's just the 6 of shit. So Icky will just say I'll take that for now. Thank you. That's overly considerate of you.
I bow as I hand it to him because that seems to be the way of things around here.
So like Icky curtsies a little bit, which like you've never seen him do. But just like if you I don't know if you want to make her percept check at it, like see if she finds out how sarcastic I'm being. But endearingly so. But no, like he'll take the teacup with the intent of giving it back directly to Raucus next he sees him.
Conan turns his into Icky as well.
Icky goes from chuckling to himself, just like goes like first it was a joke, now I'm a waiter. Great. But yeah, he'll stash the teacups away.
Geisen uses minor illusion to make it look like he's holding one of the teacups as well, and then also.
Icky, do all right. So do I need like?
What the fuck did you just do?
So like, if Icky didn't catch that you just illusioned it up, if you
I
made
would
it
have done it like kind of like, but like where you would be able to see me cast it quick, and then
okay, because if Icky didn't see it, he would totally just like and go reach for it, and be like, okay, give it here. And if you just like set it there and it disappears, like dick.
Cheating at drinking games all over again.
But yeah, then stashing the teacups away.
Okay.
yeah, I have to say I'm surprised that there's no alcohol here because it seems like part of your specialization kind of involves alcohol. So I just assumed you would have trained that way.
It seems to have been something I've come upon honestly. Like I said, it wasn't really something that I got exposed to very much until after I left the monastery, because without the rules saying I shouldn't, just figured why not? And well, clearly I've taken to it. But I do think that beyond the clear pieces of enjoyment that you get from it, I think that there are legitimate applications to our arts, to add to the monk arsenal. So yeah, maybe this will be an opportunity to help expand my people's horizons. I wouldn't hold my breath, but so unfortunately, until we're off island or off mountain, Grelda's going to have to be our supplier.
Consider it done.
Like clinks at him.
If there's nothing else, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to turn in.
Icky, I assume we're pretty safe, secure here. We don't need anybody on watch.
I absolutely trust these people with my life, and Raucus is one of the greatest monks I have ever known. While the defenders are certainly young, I'm certain they're able. I think that we're if nothing else, if say the dragon comes back, they'll at least be able to raise the alarm in time. I'm assuming Icky is confident in all of those things that he just said.
I would say so.
So Tarnan takes the ladder. I think you said it was a ladder, right? Ladder
Yep.
up. Takes the ladder, finds a... Is there a window upstairs?
There are 2 windows facing outward toward the drop.
Excellent. Is there a bed near the window?
No, the 3 beds are actually on the east and west, and then the side opposite the window. The ladder goes up like right in the corner.
Whichever one gives him a decent view of the stars, clouds, moon, whatever, from when he's laying on it, hands behind his head, kind of staring out the window. It's the one he's going to choose. Kick back, relax.
With the height of the monastery, all 3. Because you can see the windows from all 3, and all you see is sky.
Yeah, maybe we stay here for a few days. This is nice. I mean, the only thing I'm missing now is flying myself on wings of flame.
He kind of like scratches his back a little bit, picks up another red feather. This time just kind of like flicks it Tarnan's way.
You know, if I get enough of these, I might try to strap them to my arms in some fashion and see just how far I get.
Certainly be a lot prettier.
Ooh. Welcome home. Good night, brother.
Good to be home. And thank you. Welcome to my home.
Curiosity, are there pillows on the beds?
Yes.
Are they feather pillows? Fuck you, Geisen.
I was wondering.
Hey, feather pillows.
And if they are, do they come from them, or do they...
They're down beds from the Dodo Arakokra. We don't talk about them. Just enjoy. Don't ask questions.
So there are 3 beds on the second floor and 3 beds on the first floor. Would anybody like to do anything else prior to turning in for the night?
I mean, maybe keep working on my song until, I just either go to bed or people scream at me to shut the fuck up and go to bed. Whichever comes first,
Icky would probably stay in whatever room for a little while by himself, and then at some point late at night go out for a little wander to basically just kind of take a round in the sky around his own new home before turning in, just to kind of experience those old familiar skies and those old familiar walkways.
And by the time you go out, it is night, and it is a very clear night, so you can see the stars as you make a wide loop. Yes, Tarnan.
Do I see him leaving, or am I already asleep? Depends on how late you
How long does Icky wait before he heads out?
What time are we all starting to head to bed again? Sorry,
I'd say it's about 9.
About 9. It could probably wait about it would be about 2 hours that he just kind of revels being in Arakokra space, in being home, and just before letting that need to see that sky taken. So yeah, about 2 hours. So around 11 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. Tarnan's probably passed out.
Okay. Then before Icky heads out, Geisen, Gendrick, anything before everybody goes to bed?
Oh.
I think Gendrick's just gonna turn in, but is just gonna sit there thinking about things for a bit. Otherwise, nothing noticeable.
There are 3 beds upstairs, 3 beds downstairs. Who is sleeping where? Tarnan has already said he's going upstairs. Who else is sleeping where?
I'm gonna stay downstairs.
Downstairs.
And
Think
I'm
you'll
willing to
go up.
bet Geralda would stay downstairs as well, just due to heights.
Guys, will go up then.
Okay. So Geisen is I'm sorry. Gendrick is downstairs with Sanishi and Grelda. So you stay up for a little bit. Icky, you go. Everybody goes upstairs. A couple hours later, Icky, you do end up kind of going down the ladder, heading out. Clear night, very mild, and you just take a long, lazy loop. How long do you stay out flying for?
Probably about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how big the space is. If you think it would be more reasonable, that it would be long on the longer end. You'd certainly, like you said, it would certainly be a very lazy, listful, soaking it all in kind of fly. So on the longer end of 45 minutes to an hour.
Then you're on a mountain over an island. There's plenty of space for you to take as much time as you need. You make a long loop, just reliving in your mind every kind of test flight, fighting flight, every flight that Arrakis took you on, that you went on with the other monks. It seems like it all coming back. Every loop, every flip, every flap of your wings brings back a memory from those years. And it is, you look up at the stars, it's a very clear night, the wind rushing past you. You just feel calm and at ease for the first time in a very long time. And there is nothing that disturbs you. Nobody else, nothing else is out there. It's like the sky is yours for an hour. And it just, again, puts you back at ease in a way that you haven't been in a very long time. And as you land outside of the building that everybody else is staying in, you just take a deep breath again, fill your lungs with all that air, and then head inside.
And I assume I at least fall asleep easily. We'll see if any purple-robed bitches show up in my dreams.
Bitches! Alright,
Fair.
so everybody gets a nice full night of sleep.
Woohoo!
You wake up in the morning with the warm sunlight coming in from the windows. As everybody wakes up, you do hear a bit, I don't want to say commotion. You do hear a bit going on. Like you hear some voices, some stuff moving around outside. It's not a lot of noise, but it's more than you heard last night when you went to bed.
Icky probably sleeps in. If the noise if he wakes and hears and notes that extra noise, he would likely know that it's the rest of the Arakoka returning from where they were sent off to, and would just continue being like, ha 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 ha, ha I'm up dead.
All right, but everybody else does kind of wake up around the same time.
Tarna gets up and looks out the window. What does he see?
Well, give me a perception check.
I have to percept what's outside.
Well, I'm gonna have you percept to see in your morning, rubbing your eyes, exactly how much you see outside.
13.
13. You see a handful, maybe 4 or 5, Aarakocra in the process of flying back up and then landing down a couple levels, like on the overall monastery below where you guys were. And as you see those last one come up, you do see, like, you look down and you do see a bit of movement, like some Aarakocra kind of walking around or flying around. And there seemed to be, even the little bit of movement you see is far more than you saw the day before. But after those handful land, you don't see any more in the air.
Okay. Doesn't seem urgent or anything. I'll start. About what time of morning is this, roughly?
I'll say about 7.
All right, so I will start gently waking people. You know, tap tap on Icky's bed frame. Hey, you wake
Yeah,
up.
no. Yeah. Oh, and once Tarnin comes and like, shakes him awake, like Icky'll rouse and start getting himself together. Without any like real complaints, just kind of like a waking up and then just like monk flip, like maybe like do like a flip out of bed, like caca.
Tarnin does an acrobatic roll out of the way. Sorry, it's still. Is it odd that the hardest part for me right now is that we don't have a direction or a driving force right now? It's
So like you'll take him over there like to read the proverbial room, and just like again, just like kind of like put his claw on Tarnin's shoulder, like, no, I feel that anxiety too.
It's weird, Captain.
You are downstairs.
Never mind.
She's gonna come up in the minute.
Gyson,
I'm just like,
Gyson
I'm
is the only
imagining
other one.
Shinichi
upstairs.
like with a cup on the ceiling now.
No. I was.
Okay, no. What you actually hear, so you two are having this like heart-to-heart conversation, and then just like coming up from the stairwell, you hear that from Sanishi. Just like you're both talking and just out of nowhere, out of the side, you just hear Sanishi's voice like wafting up from the stairwell, like she's been listening the whole time.
You're sure she didn't like? I mean, maybe she's just not used to sleeping in a bed, and she had to find somewhere comfortable. So she's like halfway up the ladder, halfway down the ladder, kind of sprawled in a weird direction. Yeah, this is more normal. This is what we usually get.
I can imagine Sanishi setting up a hammock that spans from the top of the stairs to the bottom.
Oh. There we go. Now you're back.
There he is. He's
You're
back.
back.
You were frozen for a bit.
Hammock. All we heard is hammock, but
I
we
heard,
get the
I heard
idea.
hammock from the top of the bottom. All right, so
Okay,
Gyson,
yeah, like, that's pretty much it. I just see Sanishi stringing up a hammock from the top of the stairs to the bottom, and that's where she slept.
all right, so
Okay.
Gyson is on the floor with
Thank you for
Target.
coming to my TED talk.
Oh,
Um, Gyson would have probably been awake. Like once he hears people shuffling around, he would get up. He woke up because he's excited to go back to that library again.
books.
Information. Input. New spells. Old spells.
Gyson number 5, looking for input.
Downstairs, I'm going to say Gendrick was already awake and seems troubled. Doesn't seem like he slept that well.
Can I perceptify that?
From upstairs.
If we get back,
I gotta
together,
come down.
All right, I would say like the three of you do make your way downstairs, and if it is obvious, I wouldn't say you would need to percept it, especially with a passive perception of what was it, 18?
19.
19. Then I would say you would know, even in the short time you've been together, that Gendrick is off.
Tarnan will message him, privately message him, say, you seem a little off. Forgive me for saying so, but you're part of the team. If there's something you'd like to speak about, you may reply to this message.
Yes. So I will reply in the affirmative in that I'll say that message I received, unfortunately, it does not impact the Sandpoint. It's 5, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Does not impact the Sandpoint 5 directly, but unfortunately it impacts me. And my question to you, I overheard you discussing the task you've taken to protect the innocent. And my question is, have you ever had to weigh the innocence of two against each other? In perhaps a scenario where one must live and one must die.
Very much so on an internal scale. Yes. Yes, recently as well. I believe I can see what you're asking.
I'd like to speak of this perhaps with the group in a delicate way before we set out.
Well, you
or
all
at least
are.
leave this location.
I say you all are together.
Okay.
So you know.
Well, right, but unless he stopped using the spell, we were talking back and forth with messages. I was trying to give him some privacy.
Okay.
But still
I'll do that reply privately.
Okay.
Like after he mentions that he has had that experience, just say, well, this is something that we should talk about as a group publicly before we set out.
So now,
If now's the time.
yes. And then out loud, Tarnan says, hey, everyone, there's something we should probably discuss before we take off, before we move forward, before we even go to have breakfast. Gendrick has something on his mind, and I think we should take the time to listen, see what we can do.
Are you sure we can't do this while we have breakfast? Some eggs sound amazing right now.
I don't disagree that they sound amazing. However, let's do that. Let's do the conversation here privately instead of...
Are they like huge?
Seriously, can't take you guys anywhere. We'll civilize you yet.
They're also from the dodo.
Oh.
Yeah, we have them on reserve.
As Tarnan nods, basically saying that we'll talk about this first. Gendrick will ask if you have ever had dealings with the Red Wizards of Thay.
Just point. It's just the Red Wizards.
Just the Red Wizards. Sorry, forget that other part.
Is that to the group or to Tarnan still?
That's
The group.
Unless I'm told otherwise, I don't think Iki would have any.
Yeah. Is that an Arcana check or a Wisdom check or what there, Sean?
That's something Geisen would have heard of.
No. Actually, nobody else in the group would have familiarity with this.
Although Geisen is wearing a bright kind of like red robe.
No,
That
not even
licks, that licks
Sasha.
flames on the ground as he walks.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, I guess the details on their organization aren't too important, but let's just say they're a group of ill repute. And sometime after I became separated from Iki, after my time here, actually, brief as it were, I traded favors for them in exchange for information. Information that basically put me down the road of learning the craft and the magic I possess today. Unfortunately, at the time, let's just say the terms were not clear, and unfortunately, my debts are being called in.
What kind of debts?
Well, unfortunately, it puts the lives of two, I assume, well, we'll see, innocents in the balance. One being my guardian and caretaker as a youth, my uncle, and on the other, someone I believe you may be familiar with. I'm not, as he's a member of the Thieves Guild in Sandpoint. I believe you know him as the name of Fenton. And the debt, the bargain that has been provided to me is for the life of my uncle. I do not know my uncle's location at the moment either, which complicates the situation. Or the life of this Fenton in Sandpoint.
Just to be sure I'm understanding what you're saying, you need to end one of these lives, or you need to end Fenton's life specifically to protect your uncle?
To, as far as has been communicated to me, to end my debt and preserve the life of my uncle and his servitude.
Cool. So we're gonna go kill these red mages or whatever, right?
I certainly have no love for the red wizards. So if there's any way to, perhaps, let's say, work outside the arrangement in this bargain, that would be the best for me. But I stand in a difficult position asking this group to do such a thing for me.
Okay, we had nothing else to do. We had no direction. Let's go make them die.
And Kendrick, I have little doubt that we wouldn't be standing here having accomplished what we have without your direct input. So, and I apologize if I'm phrasing all crazy because now you guys are frozen. Okay, thank God.
You're still looking good.
I may just need to turn off my webcam because the internet's getting wonky. But no, I feel fairly confident speaking for everyone here, but I won't. That this is, and these involve, this Fenton has been very helpful to us. And I don't want to speak for Tarnan, but I think it would behoove all of us to at least let him see another day so we can figure out this whole, or at least discuss this whole ascension thing with him.
I have no doubt that Fenton is not innocent per se. But then if we look at just a short time past, neither am I.
Was he the one who had the other items, ascension items, or?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't like these guys' random interest in this guy. This seems...
Yeah, Gendrick, do you have any idea why they're interested in either your uncle or Fenton?
Part of the reason I got into this situation I'm in is because in the past I didn't ask questions, and the trouble it has caused. So I can't say for sure what exactly the Red Wizards want with Fenton, other than the fact that they want him dead. No means specified.
No means specified.
There's no. Actually, let me check the prop here real quick.
And what was that, Geisen? You were saying something?
I was just going to ask, do you know where the Red Wizards live? Where they would be?
I suspect, given the contacts they have, may be able to track down a thread, but at the current point in time, I have no idea where they are or where they may be storing my uncle. And furthermore, this task that was delivered to me yesterday has a time limit of 14 days.
Did they specify how long Fenton has to be dead?
That they did not.
Very well. If I convince Fenton that you have to kill him to save someone, and then I just bring him back, is that going to cause a problem with the Red Wizards? Because, I mean, we could do that. There would be a cost involved, obviously. However, if that satisfies the contract and we can do it in a way that they don't get a chance to really look deeply into it.
I from personal experience, I suspect the Red Wizards has many eyes, but faking a death should be possible.
No. I was serious. We would kill him. He would be dead. And then as soon as he is dead, I'd bring him back. There's no faking. The contract, if they honor it as such, is you have to kill him. He dies. He's gone. And now I bring him back.
Come on, Tarnin. It sounds so much more fun to go kill these guys.
Is there a way we could do both?
Oh yeah, maybe we could get like kind of have a like bring Fenton's body in. So like, oh look, he dead. And then
see, that would be the tricky part, because you can only be mostly dead all day.
What if did the Red Wizards, is there any way you could possibly invite them to the execution of Fenton? And we could lay a trap of sorts.
Well, if we're going to lay a trap of sorts, why do we even bother to kill Fenton? Why don't we just have him go along with it and help us take out these wizards? Mages.
I mean, I could explain it to you, but I feel like Sanishi will do a much better job.
We should kill them.
Do we have a way to communicate back to them? Is that even an option?
DM, I'm going to say it's something where like they might hear about it, but I wouldn't have a way to directly contact them.
You have never the contact has always been one directional with you.
Yeah, my thoughts at this point, and the reason why I'm so troubled is my uncle is basically a dead man unless we can find an alternative solution here. Fenton, while it sounds like he may not be completely innocent and the scales may not even be in his favor, I'm not sure he's sentenced to die. However, I'm still interested to explore options with you if you hear it. Sanishi, you seem like you have a question.
How did they find you here?
I suspect that perhaps in my youth, when I took on the knowledge for them, they had some method of tracking my location.
Everybody in the group would know, since you have used paper birds frequently. The way the paper birds work is you write it on the paper bird, you speak the name of the person you want it to go to, and it goes to them. You don't need to know where the person is. Okay. The paper bird will find them.
Yes.
As long as they're on the same plane of existence as you.
The one directional communication, the arcane nature of the paper birds is how they contact me. As far as my exact location, I don't think they'd know.
I don't think that matters.
Can we
Right, those birds.
on a paper bird and follow it?
Geisen, what was that? I'm sorry.
Can we send a paper bird to the Red Wizards and follow it?
Do we have a name of? I mean, if we just pick Red Wizards, it's not. It's going to go to the first Red Wizard. Don't we need to know? Forgive me if I'm overstepping. I don't understand magic the way you use it, but don't you have to have the name of who you're sending it to?
I mean, the Red Wizards sound like they're like an organization or something. They're like a group.
Well, right, but my exaggerated point here is if I had a paper bird and I said, send this message to an Oracocra, they're all over the damn place. It's just going to go to the nearest one, or it's going to go to the wrong one, or is it going to randomly pick one in the universe? How?
It probably wouldn't even function.
The details on the paper bird specifically say you speak a creature's name.
So yeah, they have, like, if you don't know the name
It
of
doesn't
an
go
individual within the Red Wizards, you can't send a bird to them.
anywhere. Interesting.
So they know Gendrick's name, so they can send shit to him all day. But Gendrick doesn't know them, so
And
the
Gendrick
same
doesn't
thing.
know where his uncle
hence
is.
the one way.
Yeah. And Gendrick doesn't know where his uncle is, so we can't charge in, rescue
Although
him,
we could send a bird to his uncle.
and follow that.
That's a really good idea. If this is even an option, I don't know how fast it flies.
Okay. So our bird boy here says we use a bird to follow the bird that's going to chase off to where the uncle is.
It's an option.
Gendrick, if you don't think that's safe or reasonable, I completely understand. But Dwayne is fast. What I know is, like, would I know if Dwayne could keep pace with a paper bird? Would I have any concept of that?
I don't
Hold
think it's a
on.
matter of speed.
If there's a flood involved too.
Hey,
Now,
If
we
a
set
tidal
it
wave,
with
a paper
24
bird,
ripe coconuts,
if
Wait,
a tidal
hold on.
wave, a paper bird, and a rock all raced at the same time.
I don't think it's a matter of whether the paper bird is faster than Dwayne. I think it's a matter of whether Dwayne can. If Gendrick's uncle's not within Dwayne's range, we have to stop.
And we'd have no way of stopping the paper bird while we took our rest.
we could just send a message that says, like, hey, uncle, it's me, Gendrick. I'm on my way with my buddies. If you're further away than this, it's going to take us a little longer. Please wait. We'll send another.
And as soon as he's alerted, how do we know if the Red Wizards aren't watching him?
We don't. Maybe
I mean, we
they'll
have
see
to
these
assume
birds
they are.
and be alerted. Maybe less that they're watching. They may be watching Gendrick, so we may just lead the Red Wizards right to him if we do this. That's a good point.
I
Ugh.
can say the Red Wizards are certainly not innocent by any means. The reason you found me on the fishing island in Solitude was, well, an attempt to hide for them, let's say. In the past, I had done some work building devices for them, and later I found that these devices in turn were used to kill innocents, not directly by me, but
Hold on, I
As
just
soon
want
as
to
I-
clarify that point. You built items for the Red Wizard.
as far as I was aware, these were benign items, or at least
And
not.
then they use
for a
those
destructive
items
purpose.
specifically to harm innocents.
That was the result. The original intention may not have been that, but in the end, it was the same.
I just want to clarify, do you believe that there are other innocents at risk beyond your uncle and Fenton because of these items or these Red Wizards in general?
I would argue the Red Wizards themselves, due to their nature and what I've seen, pose a risk to innocence in this realm.
That sounds like something my patron would prefer not to be around. I think I've got to side with Sanishi. We're just going to have to remove them from taking out other people.
If I might
So-
suggest, if we're looking for leads, perhaps this Fenton might have some answers or directions for us.
Yeah, there's a possibility if they're targeting him, there's probably one of these maroon caster guys hanging out in Sandpoint, and I'm not cool with that.
And I figure if I don't kill Fenton, it's likely the next person under the sway of the Red Wizard's influence may.
That feels too close.
I am all in favor of heading to Fenton's aid and finding out what we can about where these Red Wizards are and see if he can be of aid in locating people for us as he has in the past. Anyone opposed to this idea?
No, but can we still stop by the library?
We have 14 days, so. But
How many days do you need? How long did it take us to get here again?
From the library?
No, from Sandpoint to where we are. 3, was it?
I think it was like 2.5.
Hmm.
Off the top of my head, it was 2 to 3.
Okay.
I mean,
All right. I'll tell you what, guys, and you tell Grelda she has to sit here for a whole day in dread, waiting for another freaking flight on the back of a bird that she really doesn't want to be on. And if she's cool with waiting for a whole day, we go to the library for a whole day. If she's not, then we just get this ride over with so she doesn't, hurt one of us.
Well, I don't know that waiting around not being on the bird is any worse than just getting on the bird, but we can ask her. Grelda?
This one's you, Sean.
Nope.
Yeah, I feel like
actually-
we honestly need Tammy given
Actually,
the recipes.
it is 11:15, which is a half hour. Since
Okay.
you said it's a half hour. So we will end with that question with the rest of the group turning, looking at
Just
Grelda.
stare at
So
Grelda.
Tammy, as you're watching this, be prepared to start the next section answering the question.
All the pressure,
And
Tammy.
we'll end there. Yep. And that is where we stop for the night.
Love it.